If you water the orchid too much, I am afraid that it will rot. There is less water, and I am afraid that it will be empty tillage. So how much water do we need to water the orchids? How to pour it? What about this video today? I will teach you a few practical watering tips. You can order a little love to support it first. Well, first of all, let's be clear. You don't care, you water him every few days. Every time we water, make sure he can water it through. So what counts as watering? I'm going to teach you two tricks. Because we grow the seeds of orchids is relatively loose, permeable, so we can water it when we water it. Just pay attention to its pelvic floor. Observe its pelvic floor. When the bottom of the basin starts to seep, we silently count 20 to 30 seconds in our hearts. We use enough time to make sure he's drenched. Or after we've watered it for the first time. After waiting for 5 to 10 minutes, let's do the second round. That's also in this way. To make sure it's watered through, if you say your orchids, its seed material has not been watered thoroughly for a long time. So what do you think? Use the two methods just mentioned above. Might be a waste of water. We can also use the cleaning basin method to water him. What about the cleansing method? A watering method that must be learned to raise orchids. The cleaning basin method is also relatively simple. Can we just get the next bucket? Put half a bucket of water in the bucket. Put the whole pot of our orchids in the water. Let it soak for about 10 minutes. How about this? To ensure its root system, including its mass to be able to fully hydrate after he has eaten and drunk, let's pick up the whole pot of orchids again. It's okay to dry the stagnant water. So like this. What about a keyboard method? We can ensure that our orchids can be fully watered. So what happens after that? We'll use it again. The two methods mentioned earlier to water orchids. Don't worry about saying it's a waste of water. Then there's another question. That's what we want. How often is it appropriate to water the orchids? What about first? We can't decide according to a fixed number of days due to different environments. What about different weather and different plant materials? Water consumption and demand are different. For example, some places are drier, and in some places it's moist, right? The weather is different in the south and the north. Therefore, we must rely on ourselves. Orchid this pot soil seed material to decide when we're going to water it. What if we want normal? We should pay attention to our orchids. A situation of a demand for moisture, we just keep it that way. It is okay if the basin soil is slightly wet. So then, can we just start? We can water it every 3 days first. Then at such a frequency, after a month, we can make our own observations to adjust the watering time for orchids. So as long as you master the above points, we don't have to worry about saying, when watering the orchids, we water more or less. That led to him, rotten or empty roots. And this is what happens.